G'day everyone and welcome back to Baggers Unfiltered 26. I'm your host Henry and you are.
Louis from the Perth Blue Baggers pod.
And for the second time this year, we're lucky enough to be joined by Pommy from Pommy and Oz. Pommy, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm excited to be here with you and Louis. Can't wait to get stuck into welcoming some new blue baggers in a couple of days.
Bloody oath.
Indeed.
It's going to be exciting. So for those who don't know, today's going to be a bit about the draft. So we're really excited to have Pommy alongside us for the draft preview. Pommy, you know a lot about the draft in recent years. You've done a lot of shows. You bring a good energy to podcast, so we're excited to have you, and let's rip in.
Can't
Let's
wait.
go. Okay, so I think something that will be beneficial to us and the audience is just some definitions or criteria that we should know about bidding or how the draft value index works.
Yeah. So, obviously, the best way to look at it, I always say, is imagine its retail value. So the AFL allocates almost a point system. So imagine it as dollars. So that's the best way I always found to teach my kids when they asked. So pick one is worth $3,000. Pick two is worth $2,481. Three, 2,178. They value it and it scales down right until we get to pick 54, which is the last points pick, which is $14. So you can see there from pick one, 3,000, all the way down to 54 is only $14. And there's a bit of grey area here. Some people think it's 10% now because it used to be 20% now. And then there was a secret rule that some people forget. So if someone bids on your player in 1 to 18, that's a 10% discount. So that would mean 3,000 if it was pick one would become 10% off. So 300 minus 3,000 is 2,700, so on and so forth. That only applies to 1 to 18. Once we get to pick 19, this is where there's a grey rule. It's called the standardization DVI discount, where you lose 84 points till pick 36. So 796 is pick 19. They take 84 points off that instead of 10%. So you get about 5 more points. But that does work out pretty well when you get to like pick 35, where you're getting almost 20% off. And then after 36, it's just your next pick. So pick 37 is 297 points. As long as you've got a pick in the draft, they just take that off you. So there's no rule as well on that. If you had pick 37 and your next pick is pick 90, you can match it with 90. 90 is deleted. You get the player at 37. So they're the three areas: 1 to 18, 19 to 36, 37 onwards, just next pick. So you're always hoping your player slides to 37. If he slides to 37, you're getting in for free, pretty much, just your next pick.
Right, it's a very interesting concept. And then how does the bidding work?
So what would happen in this scenario, and this is like even more confusing because the AFL do what the pick match in a weird way. So they don't do it logically how you get if you overpay. So let's do an example. Let's say in this draft at the minute, Zeke Hewland is meant to be expected to be bid on pick 2 by West Coast Eagles. Now he's tied to Gold Coast. So providing there's no trades and everyone has the same picks, pick 2 will be 2,481. They'll take 10% off that, so that comes to 2,232. Gold Coast will then use their picks in lowest order to highest, so you can't pick and mix if you have 15, 30, 44, but 15, 30, and 44 make the deal. You have to use them in order, so 15, 16, 17, 18, it has to be numerical order, so they will use their first 3 selections. Pick 15, 973 points, 18, 836 points, and 24, which is 621. That means they've overpaid by 198. So what happens then is effectively Gold Coast for 15, 18, and 24 get pick 2 to get Zeke Hewland, and they'll be allocated what's called a compensation pick for the overpay. So almost change, like when you go to the shops and if the guy says it's $46, you give him $50, they'll give you $4 back. So they will give you at first pick 43, but they give you pick 43 before they delete your picks. So in reality, 43 will become 41 because you get pick 2, they delete 3 picks, they give you 1, you actually go up to 41. So you always get a bit more than what the overpay is because the AFL is quite weird. They give you your compensation, your receipt before they delete your picks. So you always get a little bit better than what you overpay. So it's one of the other grey areas that people forget as well of the draft, a nuance of our game, that is.
Righto. Yep, hopefully that makes sense for everyone.
It probably doesn't. It took me ages, but we do have an app. If you go onto the Pommy and Oz website, we have an app that actually shows you it in real time. So if you actually see it, it makes sense more than me telling you, like when you can actually see it happen before your eyes. So go and check that out. It's good for you to learn. You'll learn a lot there.
Yep. Yeah, certainly something that you'll have to get your head around each year, probably. Refresh your mind. Henry, next question.
All right. So I'm actually near where Harry Dean lives, and I've watched a few of his games before. I know a little bit about him, but Pommy, what's your opinion on what Harry Dean could bring to the club?
I'm really excited on Harry Dean, and I hated his year, but I loved his year as well because he was super impressive, particularly for Vic Country. He was super impressive. His work rate, he was probably the best player at times for Country, but he also showed people that he's more than an intercept defender. He showed his one-on-one defending. He's come up against all of the best defenders, all the best forwards in this crop, and he's won. He got All Australian, voted MVP in countless different pundits, All Australians, and for Murray Bushrangers, he was dominant as well. For Carlton fans, he's really exciting because not only is he a good interceptor, good defender, very quick as well, but his ability to hit targets is very good. And I've said this quite a bit. I remember Jacob Waitering's draft. It was one of the first ones I've ever covered. I think as a pure defender, Harry Dean is a better prospect than Waitering was at the time. Now, Waitering was a prototype in them days. Not many players did what he did. Now, everyone has learned to be that kind of exciting defender. Harry Dean is that new wave. So I can see him being ready to play games day one as the third tall. He's that awkward size as well. He's that mid-size, we call them, 194. I reckon he's got a bit of growth. I think he'll actually rise to 198 by his 21. I think there's still a bit of growth going to him, but he is very exciting to watch. If you go and watch any of his games, they're all on YouTube. A guy called Footy Stuff condenses the highlights as well. He's got a 20-minute video of just all of Harry Dean's Murray Bushrangers games. He's very exciting. So I'm very looking forward. He'll slide into the team day one, and I think he could play round one against Richmond.
Oh,
Well,
we covered it.
that's definitely one of his beliefs. I was chatting to him the other day. Might have been 2 weeks ago now, and I've actually got the message here. I'll have to have a look. So, in 12 months, he wants to be on the AFL roster, building himself and working his way into the pre-season, see how his footy's going, how he's tracking, and he wants to be pushing to play round one. So, for a young kid to come out and say that he wants to play round one, that shows that he's more than capable of doing so. So, can't wait to see him.
Yeah, and his general manager from Bushrangers said that he was perfectly capable of making a round one debut. I think is as good as I've ever seen, or something like that. He said.
Scary good. He is scary good. So, the best way I could describe him to Carlton fans is, Mitch McGovern when he's playing really well in the back line when we got really excited. That's kind of his average. That's like what he does all the time. He loves the corridor as well. So Carlton fans are in for a treat there because I'm quite excited. Waitering, Harry O'Farrell, Dean, them three, when they start to play together full time in a couple of years' time, that's a dynasty backline.
Very good, very good. Let's go into what Jack Eisen might bring.
You see, I was really excited about Jack Eisen because I thought we might have hidden him away from the AFL world. So I've got a good couple of mates who work with the Oakley Chargers, and they were huge on Jack Eisen in the preseason, telling me, Tom, look out, this guy's going to be breaking all records. Everyone's going to know about him. And we've managed to let him play a lot of school football, which usually helps you, and teams don't know he's as good as he is. But unfortunately, the secret's out. But Jack Eisen, the best way I could describe Jack Eisen is imagine Gold Coast Jack Martin before he got injured. Incredible user of the football. His kicking skills are stand out. He can play big, he can play small. He's that nice 190 size. Marks just about everything. He loves linking up as well with his team. He can give goals as well as get them. But the big thing from him is just his intelligence. He's very good at working up the ground, linking up the midfield to the forward line. I think long term, I could see him being a winger. I think he's got the endurance to do that. He's going to have to just sharpen a few things up. But I can see I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on Blue Abroad. I think, unfortunately, Geelong will bid on him because they like bidding on our players. And it looks like now Geelong will bid in their first pick on Jack Eisen. And I can see why. I think he's going to be a very good player. And I think he might just surprise people how good he is, because it does feel like he's the most underrated of the two. But moving forward, I can see this guy being a fan favourite very quickly once he gets into the team.
Certainly got the attributes we need, the ball use and link up that we desperately need. Well, I think that's a good segue into the next part. With the latest news on the pick swaps broken by Cal Twomey on Saturday, I think it was. What should we make of that? How? Because there was a lot of confusion initially. I think Carlton fans were outraged that we were trying to do what was best for this year and next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a fascinating one, because if the bids are 3 and Geelong's first, which will be about 19 come draft night, 9 and 11 would eventually become 51 and 52, right? So that's how it would work out. Carlton's would be screwed, right? They'd have no future first, second. So on paper, it sounds brilliant, but the best way I can describe it is the way that the AFL works with these bids. What Carlton could end up with on draft night, if it's pick 3 is Harry Dean, which we expect it to be, we expect it to be Hewland, Dean, and then Cooper Duff Tytler, you will find that Carlton will have a pick in the 30s to use, about 33 after getting Jack Eisen as well. And they'll also have a future second. Now, the future second sounds rubbish from North Melbourne, but it is the most traded pick in AFL for pick swaps. And next year, the rule looks like it's going to be you have to match bids with 2 picks. Currently, I could have 100 picks that are worth points. I could have 54. There's only 54, so 53. I could have 53 different picks, and there's no limit. Once the draft starts, I can have as many picks as I can trade in. The list rule ends of only having picks for drafts. Next year, it looks like you're only allowed to use 2 to match. So that could be a problem, because Cody Walker currently is in the leadership group. It's been a strong bottom age year. It's going to be hard to hide Cody Walker. We can't do what we did with Jack Eisen, because there's no way he's going to play school football APS. He's going to have to play for AFL Academy. He's going to have to play for country. He's probably going to captain country. And he's most certainly going to play regularly for his club as well. So I think he's going to be... I get a feeling Dougie Cochran might be pick 1 or pick 2. And I don't think he'll go pick 1 now he's got NGA. So I think Cody we might get lucky and he might become pick 3, because usually you bid on the best player pick 1, then you do a NGA father-son. So he's going to be 2 or 3. It's going to be him or Cochrane in that top 3. Carlton will need that future second, because currently they've got Sydney and Gold and their own pick. I don't think that's enough to trade up, because one of the rules Cal Toomey floated about that the AFL are talking about is to bid in the top 5, you must own a top 10 pick as well. So that would allow Carlton the leg room to maybe use Carlton's first and a future second to get pick 8. Then you match that with Sydney. There you are. You've got Cody Walker. But Carlton have to make sure they have Cody Walker sorted now. Because next year, if you haven't, North Melbourne will know what the rules are. So they suddenly know that future second he's worth a little bit more than it is today when we're guessing. So I like the fact Carlton are trying to get that pick in and say, right, Cody Walker, worst case scenario, Harry Dean, Jack Eisen, Cody Walker, happy days. Because I'm telling you, as good as Dean is and as good as Jack Eisen is, Cody Walker is somewhere between Nick Dacos and Sam Walsh, like so far. Like we're talking an incredible talent. So I'm quite excited. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on Cody Walker, and he is going to be heavily sought after. So I can see why the club are doing it. I know it sounds bad at face value, but ask Collingwood fans, would you rather have pick 5 or Nick Dacos? I'm pretty sure they'd tell you right now they'd rather have Nick Dacos. So we've got to get Cody in the door. He's a very good footballer.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Hopefully the management team can do that. Henry, next.
Righto. So, Pommy, we know that we're definitely looking at Dean and Ison. Is there any other sort of draft prospects that catch your eye, like really deeply? So, if you could, I know we got like Lockie Doverston. The others might have been looking at Sullivan Roby for a second there. Is there any others that you know about?
Well, I think we've got to look at like the 30s now, where I think that's where you actually see Carlton have a pick. So there's been quite a lot of talk today from Cal Toomey himself that quite a few players have slid out of that top 30. One of them being Noah Hibbins-Hargraves, who was one of my favourites in the draft class. The big question mark of him is he's either incredibly good or you don't notice him. So that seems to have gone against him, which I do find weird watching the AFL and watching some of the players ahead of him, because he's missed a red time goal himself. So he could be an option should he slide that way. But the guy that really stands out to me is a gentleman called Archie Ludowick. So we have lost a key forward that we all used to like, but now we don't like him anymore. And you look at our list, you probably would say the key forward stocks aren't as big as they used to be, because we've also lost Harry Lemmy. So Archie Ludowick was probably in my first power ranking we did in the first month of the season. We had him 15th. Then he did his PCL, but before he did his PCL, he was flying just under 4 goals a game. He was clunking everything, kicking big scores, looked every part of it. 197. He's a beautiful size and good in the air. He's been in the leadership group as well, so he's got a real good work ethic, very mobile, bit like Harry Mackay, the contested mark. He's definitely going to be someone around that range for the Blues. Now, Archie Ludowick is miles ahead of Harry Lemmy when we drafted him. The PCL hurt him. I don't think Carlton need a key forward to play round 1, so he's obviously going to be in the rehab group when you get him. But I look at Archie Ludowick and I actually rate him more than Aidan Sherbert. And last year I was huge on this, that I like Jonty Fall more than a lot of the other pundits did, and Richmond ended up taking him a lot earlier than planned. So I could see this being maybe a mistake by the others, because the teams that want key forwards need a key forward today. Carlton are in a unique position. Hudson O'Keefe probably plays that second role. Now he's been promoted to the seniors. Harry's got the main role. Brodie Kemp will be back mid-year, we'd expect. We've also got Ashton Moyer, who can play that pseudo tall. So I think Carlton are in a great position that we can draft a guy and be like, look, we want you ready in 2 years' time. We're okay now, but ideally we'd like you. And I think when you redraft this, Ludowick will be the best key forward outside of Cooper Duff-Tytler in this draft. I would put my mortgage that it'll be Cooper Duff-Tytler, then Archie Ludowick as the 2 best forwards. I think he is that good. And I think Carlton might have a Charlie Curnow draft here, that everyone didn't like Charlie Curnow because of the criminal offence he did just before the draft and he slid down. I think Ludowick is that in the injured form. Everyone's fallen out of love with him because he's injured. I think the talent's there, though, and I like the fact he's a captain as well. So he's got the good leadership, which I think suits what we want.
Yes.
Yeah. With Archie Ludowick, do you think it's a bit more of a story like with Ashton Moyer before he got drafted? Because I know he did something to his knee, and I think he was supposed to go in the top 10 or something like that. Do you think that there's a bit of a comparison there, similar comparison.
Yeah, I mean, definitely there. Like Ashton was going great guns, wasn't he? Like he was the top ager as well of that group.
Yeah.
And it was in between his bottom age and his top age. I remember, I can't remember who it was. One of the pundits called him Isaac Heaney 2.0 in his bottom age year, which, I mean, that's a huge, huge, huge thing. The big thing with Ashton, I think, was his consistency. And he always had, like you said, these weird knocks, hamstrings, hips, little niggles just seem to follow him. Archie has been pretty fit. Bang, the PCL hits him. And I don't think it's going to be a long-lasting injury. He's been highly regarded for a long time. And people forget, he's 197. He's a giant. So when we look at 195 plus at 18, they have these little niggles because they shouldn't be that high. It's alien height at that age. Like, he's bigger than 90% of the world at 18 years old. So he's going to take a while to grow into his body, which so did Harry Mackay. So did Charlie Kerner. He had numerous knee injuries. I think Carlton are in a situation now where, unlike Harry Mackay and Charlie, we needed them to play round one when we drafted them. Archie, if you tell me Archie doesn't arrive till 2027 round one, okay, cool. We've got Hudson. We've got Brody Kemp. He will come back mid-year. He can work. Archie, I feel like, will be in a really good position. Once he gets the body done, looked after, Robin works his magic. I'm telling you, I think Archie Ludovic, when you redraft, might be in the top 10. Working with Harry and Jacob Wheater. People forget that. What a great way to learn. You're learning off the best key defender. So if you can kick goals on Jacob, who do you worry about? Sam Taylor and Harris Andrews are probably the only two who are about as good as him. Pretty good apprenticeship, isn't it? That he's going to spend 2 years playing. You'll never play someone harder than Jacob. So if you can kick goals on Jacob, every key defender in the league, you fancy beating. So hopefully we get him. I really do like Archie. Big fan. Sandy boy as well. So we've had pretty good luck with Sandringham boys, with Cooper and Carroll. We've done well so far. Hopefully it continues.
Yeah. Okay, so take note of that. Those two players. What type of attributes do you look for in potential draftees?
Well, I'm a sucker. I always have been since I've started this. I like leadership. I like to see someone young do that. I've heard some great stories doing this as well, where you get the guys who are injured who come back and help train and stay active. I like that clubman first. I like that selflessness, because I think what people forget is when you're an 18-year-old superstar AFL player, next year you walk into a dressing room and you're below the 44th best player because they've probably played AFL. They're looking at you and you're not a superstar anymore. You've got to prove it. So I like that maturity. But then I'm looking for I've never been a sucker for players that just kick goals and dominate, because it's a different game in the AFL. You need your teammates. In junior football, some games you can be the superstar and win the game on your own with just having 17 guys stood there. In the AFL, even the Patrick Cripps of this world need his 17 mates to help him. So I'm looking for that ability to teamwork as well, working hard defensively, two-way running. And then it's just whatever the position is. So if you're a halfback or a midfielder, definitely kicking, pace helps. If you're a key forward like Ludovic, I'm looking for how does he work when the ball's not marked? Does he stand there and watch, or does he try and hit a small defender, try and get in the way? You're looking for them little things that you're wanting in your list. So I always work backwards. If it's Carlton, I'm like, what do we want? We want someone quick. Ideally, he could hit a target. If he can kick a goal, that would be good as well. Has to run two ways, though, working for Michael Voss. So you're looking for them things, but you're trying to find the things we don't have. And I think Ludovic, Ison, and Dean are probably lucky that all three of them have skills that we don't have. So we're kind of lucky this year that our NGA has kind of kicked out two guys who were good at kicking, which is weird. We're lucky because usually Carlton would just find two bulls in our NGA and we'd be like, well, we've got them and now we're going to have to pick them. So usually looking for what you're missing, and hopefully we can get three wonderful players in, which we know two of them, which is nice. It's like Christmas. Your parents have told you you're getting the PlayStation 5. So you're just hoping now your uncle gets you the game you wanted.
100%. Yeah, so what are some of the issues that Carlton face this year, and like, do our draftees address, or potential draftees or recruits from the trade period address some of them?
Well, I mean, I think it depends where you play them. Like, I think there's an argument that Jack Eisen could start off the halfback line as well and play defensive wing in the VFL. So definitely work on that. So I think long term, I look at Blake Acres as the position I want someone to take over from. And it's obvious that we want a tall guy. So I'd like to see Jack have a go at that. And we try and play Ben more offensively and Lucas a bit more down the back. I like Lucas at halfback. So I think Carlton are definitely looking for an extra rotation in that midfield. I'm going to be really intrigued how our forward line works, because no longer can we just kick the ball in the 50. We haven't got two pillars anymore. We've got one pillar and a baby who's learning. And I know Hudson O'Keefe took 6 contested marks on debut, but in reality, he's not going to do that every week. And if we think he is, he's going to look really bad. So I'm intrigued that Carlton are going to have to move the ball quicker. They're going to have to move the ball more precise, particularly off the halfback line. So I do think Harry Dean helps with that. I do think at times Jacob Wheatering seems to be the only one who wants to kick when he intercept marks. I think the others, especially Mitch McGovern last year, he seemed to have lost that in his game. And we know Lewis Young doesn't have that ability, unfortunately. He's more of a stopper than he is a ball user. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works as well. I think Harry will make us a little bit faster down the back. He loves distributing. Him and Lindsay were like best friends. He always used to find Lindsay and Lindsay would get you out. So we've got them players that can do that for Harry. I'm looking forward to that. I would like us to have a nice pick, though, and bring in a midfielder that could change the game. But I think Cody Walker's that guy in a year's time. So for Carlton, it's just trying to redevelop and get us into a right position. So when Cody comes in, we're in a good position.
Yeah.
No,
Henry.
no, on the dot. I know. You've sent me an email, because I can't actually see the rest of this question, so I'll be 2 seconds. Where are we? All right, while we have you, do you have any thoughts on how this year actually transpired?
I think we're going to be in a funny position this year where I don't think it's as bad as people think. And the reason that I don't think that is I think a lot of our problems last year and under Michael Voss, I do think the tendency tactically is just kick the ball as long and as high as you can, because you've got Harry and Charlie and invariably they bail you out. Now Carlton are in a situation where that forward line is medium-sized at best with Harry in there, and Hudson's raw, so you're not going to expect Hudson to do what Harry and Charlie did and sit on 3 key defenders and let you just kick it high at them all the time. You're going to have to make him play a little bit shallower, kick the ball quicker. So I'm kind of excited that for Carlton to even be competitive with this team, they have to change the ball movement. And then if you tell me they're changing the ball movement, suddenly I'm a little bit more confident. So I'm going to conservatively say Carlton are right in the mid-tier, 9 to 12. I've got them at the minute. But like I said last year, I could see them being worse than that if it doesn't work. But I could see them clicking. And I do think Haywood, I did the team the other day, and when I saw Haywood, Ainsworth, Harry, suddenly it felt a little bit better because I've heard of these players. And that's not a knock on Durden and Motlop, but these guys are bona fide AFL level players, as opposed to before, where they weren't. They were kind of like, I hope Durden can do it. I hope Motlop does it. Ainsworth and Haywood, we know, are AFL level. So I feel like that's a better forward line straight away. I know Curnow is a big loss. I'm not saying he's not, but I do feel like we can replace Curnow's goals naturally in our smalls, where before they've been kicking like 15 goals. So I think these guys can get 30 quite easily each, which net we're probably better off. So I'm quite bullish on us, and I actually think we'll be better than most people think. I think most people at the minute are doom and gloom, counting a bottom 4. I think they'll adapt quicker than we think.
That's good to hear, because wildcard round might save us. I doubt we could progress through that, but
look, all the fixtures look hard at the minute, which actually kind of excites me. I text my mate the other day. I'm not going to bag him, but my mate Rich is He's the most emotional Carlton fan I've ever met. But last year, he texted me when he saw the team, when we saw the fixtures, and he was like, "Oh, mate, it's so easy. Top 4 locked away." And then this year, he texts me going, "Oh, I might be bottom 4." And I'm like, just think last year you told me we're not going to lose a game. Now you're saying we're losing everything. That makes me a little bit more comfortable because it does look hard.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, maybe. We've certainly got a point to prove, and we know that there's sliders and risers throughout each season. So, yeah, there's so much unknown going into it. So we have to be with an open mind, and I think they're going to have to take it one game at a time and not think of it as a bigger picture.
I think
Yeah, like Michael Voss says, game by game. And I think that's how we've all got to look at Carlton this year. Like, they're going to have 4 in a row losses, no doubt. But if it clicks, I do feel like our team finally is a bit more balanced. And that's the one thing that I've always said about Carlton. It does feel like we are Harry, Charlie, or bust at times. And suddenly now they can't be Harry, Charlie, or bust. They've got to be Haywood or Harry or Ainsworth or Cripps or Walsh. And I'm really excited about how that looks because I feel like you've got to now be a good team.
Yeah.
You can't just pretend.
I also feel like sorry, Louis, but I also feel like there's a better vibe, not only just with the younger blokes, but also with the older blokes. It sounds like there's more of like, I think more leadership quality than there was last year, even just based off what I've heard off SEN with Weeders. He says some really, truly, like, straight up things. And Walsh with the no bullshit mentality. You know, that just these little comments, it really means that they're up for whatever's being thrown at them. And that's the sort of mindset that you want to see this year. I mean, if you see the mindset last year, or at least Charlie's mindset last year, where he was just lazy. Like, if you just see a lazy mindset, you'll see a lazy gameplay. If you see a grinding mindset, you'll see grinding week in, week out, and you'll actually start to see more wins. Like, and it'll eventually come. You'll see losses, you'll see wins, you'll ride the highs and lows, as Crip says. But that's all a part of footy. And I feel like you'll see more highs this year than you did last year for sure. I think, as the sign said, the only Carlton way is up, and I feel like that's something that we really need to cop on the chin, and definitely bring into next year.
I'm kind of excited because I feel like last year as well it was so bad because I think, not picking on my mate, but I think a lot of people thought Carlton were top 4. So when you go into a season with that as your mentality, you're always going to be disappointed. I kind of like it that a lot of the loud voices of the Carlton community are saying bottom 6. He's going to be sacked by the bye because that means we're going into this comp with a low bar. And one thing I know about Carlton, and it's probably a bad thing, is when we get a vibe, when we catch a wave, when momentum's on our side, for some reason these boys do stupidly amazing things. And 2023 is case in point, isn't it? Like, they caught that vibe at the bye and they nearly got to the grand final. Like that was how bad it was. The bye happened, they got that sneaky little win, and then they couldn't stop winning. So I feel like that's going to happen this year, that it's just got to be at the right moment. But once it all gets going, and I know what Carlton fans are like, they're probably going to go Richmond round 1. Oh my God, we're probably going to lose. We lost last year, and then we're going to probably win. So then the next game gets a little bit more exciting because it's made last year forgot about. And before you know it, you know what these boys are like. And I do think we've got a lot of players coming in, like Haywood, who, when I watch him at Sydney, he is Mr. Vibes. Like, when they need something to happen, he seems to thrive on that. So suddenly I can start to see Haywood doing a Jack Martin versus Richmond a couple of years ago. Like, having that 4-goal, 5-minute spurt, and Carlton fans are getting tattoos of Haywood on their neck and stuff like that. So,
like the bloke that has the Carlton logos on his arm.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
2024, 2023, 2022.
I can see him, like, tugging his Guernsey and us all getting excited, going, oh, Haywood's one of ours. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. He's a good replacement for Curnow then, if he was said to be a bit of a mediator to getting us going. in Premiership quarters. And then, how much do you think, like in regards to this mentality thing? Well, I delve into it a lot. I think we're mentally fragile at times, which might lead to our inefficient ball use. What do you think on that?
100%. 100%. I think when we watched last year, I do think we were very reactive, aren't we, in game? Like when you watch the good teams and they have like a bad passage of 15 minutes, it's almost like they just do what they did harder. They keep doing it until eventually it works. Like I do think under pressure our boys did, and I know Michael Voss will deny it, but I think it's hard for when fans watch the game at home or they go to the game. How often do you see everything goes well for a bit, then it doesn't, and before you know it, Carlton are kicking the ball 30 metres out of the back to a 1-on-4, and then they're bombing it in the forward line. Like, I know Michael Voss says that's not a tactic, but it does seem to be a pattern with Carlton for 5 years that when they're in struggle street, they just kick the ball high and far and hope it works. And now you can't do that. Like, that's what excites me with Charlie not being there. You'd be an idiot if you're a midfielder right now seeing that the backline's lost a key forward and go, oh, I'll just kick it into 4 midgets and Harry. Hopefully that works. They're going to have to do something different. So that kind of excites me. And I do think as well, underrated, and you talk about mentality. Nick Newman, for some reason, I love Nick. He's like one of my favourites. But when he was injured last year, I was like, okay, he's playing a job, though, that young men can do. I wonder how much his influence affected them, because he seems to be the guy under pressure when Carlton are struggling does well. And I don't think we ever replaced him last year. Like, we tried Sam Doherty there. It didn't work. Everyone kind of got to go. And it did feel like Jacob had lost his best mate, which I found weird at the bye. It did feel like Jacob was the most effective without having Nick Newman there. And that shocked me. So I'm kind of glad Nick Newman's back, because I do think Nick Newman, he's one of the first, isn't he, to go and tell someone off. Like when they do something stupid, like calm down, hit a target, play simple. Felt like he lost that. So I'm kind of ambitious. Like, people forget Matt Cottrell. How good's Matt Cottrell been for us? And we've tried some clowns last year in Matt Cottrell's position. So I'm excited about Matt Cottrell coming back as well. Like, I feel like if everything goes to plan, we won't be as bad as we all think.
Yeah. I think we won't regress. We'll progress. Probably into that wild card round position. Potentially top 8, but I wouldn't put money on it. But yeah, hopefully we can get up there again. For our sakes.
Let's hope, because I'm sick of it. I don't want us to go back to 2018.
No, thanks.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Well, hopefully the draft period brings us what we want. We find some little some gems, and we have something to look forward to next year. I think that will do us.
That will do us. Tommy, just quickly, do you have any questions for us? That's our last question.
Always.
What do you think gets Voss a contract extension next year? So Carlton finish. What do you think? Because obviously everyone's going to start saying sack Voss at some point. What do you think is the area that you would be happy for the club to announce end of next season? Michael Voss gets a 2-year deal. Like, what does that look like?
Oh.
Well, I think the overall consensus initially was making top 8, or make it again. But does top 8 now push you down to top 10? Do you need to make top 10 for a contract extension? I think what we also need to see is, rather than ladder prediction, whether the game plan has changed. Has he been able to get through to their heads, especially as a motivator coach? Can he motivate them during tough times when the pressure is on? Can he motivate us not to crumble under pressure? Can he motivate us to continue prolific ball movement and efficient ball use. That it's just little key aspects that I think you would want to look for.
I like that.
Henry? I mean, it's the question that really troubles you. And I say to Louis all the time, I don't want to put any expectation on the season 2026. But now the Voss question's here. It's arrived at the door. Shit. All right. Look, I think most people don't understand how hard it actually is to make finals. So, with you looking at other teams' list, and then you look at our list is very, very good, but we play a very odd brand of football compared to other teams who play the natural brand of footy and are just simply just better at it. So I think what it comes down to, Tommy, is how you see that the younger boys are attached, the older guys trust the process. Uh, if you see a swing in momentum throughout the year, we could go, let's say we're 4-7. If we can swing that around and somehow go more wins than losses, that's something that I really look at, and that's something I'll delve into quite a bit. I think if you can see a real shift in momentum, a real shift in confidence, I think he'll be able to get a contract. If you can see us make the 8 or the 10 now, I should say, you'll definitely see Voss get a contract. Well, yeah, I think that people take finals for granted because it's certainly not easy to make, and you have to be a really bloody good team to actually make it. So I I think it comes down to a confidence and a gameplay sort of expectation.
Indeed.
I love it, boys. Hey, I won't complain if we're in finals. It'd be nice. Get us into finals, Vossi. Let's make us happy again.
Also, another thing, I think if we're somehow 10-4 halfway through or in some good position, I don't want the club to keep his position because we know that we like to fade out throughout the year and there's different highs and lows. So it should be a off season decision.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Louis. I really hope that Carlton are in that situation where if we are say 10-4, we just keep saying we'll review it at the end of the year. Like everything's good. Don't panic and sign him to 3 years because that is a pattern of Voss, isn't it? We've had the bad start, great end, the great start, the bad end, the bad start, decentish middle, shocking end. Like we never seem to get like a Brisbane, just a steady build where it always seems we're either playing 110% or 10%. So I'm with you. I'd love to see a whole year of 80% all the way to after the bye. That's when we hit 100%, and you're like, okay, we're building into a season. We're not just trying to get the 4 points to stop fans writing sack Voss.
Yeah, and we saw the Bulldogs. I think they went a little too early with their re-signing of whatever his name is. What's his name again? The Bulldogs? Beveridge, of course, yeah. Mind blank there. But yeah, I think they went a little too early because they end up finishing 9th again. That's a common occurrence for them. So yeah, they went way too early. You need to learn from past mistakes. That's what history is all about.
100%. Amen.
Amen to that. Well, I think that wraps up episode. What episode are we up to, Louis? Episode 54. Wow, wait. So the last one that we had you on, Pommy, was 8 months ago.
It was, yeah.
I would like to know: have you got any feedback for us? Have you got anything for us? Just Have we improved? Have we?
Tell you what,
got
improvement
better.
is night and day. It's 2018 Carlton to 2023 Carlton. Like it's been smooth. I mean, one thing that's impressed me is I said this to you last time: be consistent, and you guys have been super consistent. Because I think the episode it was around 23, wasn't it, when I was on from memory?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I was just looking not long ago, and I believe it was. Now we'll have a look here. It was definitely it was episode 20. So you were our second guest.
Yeah.
8 months ago, and oh wow, we had the old shitty graphics, but
Yeah, so
we're
you
good
think,
now.
look, 33 odd weeks episodes, like that's almost
Yeah.
8 months precisely as well. So consistency is the key, and look, that you can see you're building a bit of chemistry now. You're bouncing off each other. You're not over talking each other. That's something that took me and Terry. Like me and Terry have been doing this 5 years. Probably I stopped over talking him about a year ago after 4 years. So yeah, you've done well, and that's it. Just keep going, and you talk about your shitty graphics. They're not shitty graphics. They are shitty graphics now. But I always think this: when I start changing something, I look back and go, "God, that's rubbish." But I know what I'm saying is good now. In a year's time, I'm going to remember me going, "Oh, this is really cool. It looks so cool," and probably look at it and go, "God, that was lame. Like that looked horrible."
Hmm.
So just know that you'll always get better and just enjoy it. As long as you're enjoying it, you'll learn, you'll have fun, and before you know it, you'll be the biggest YouTube channel going.
Hope so. Do hope so.
See about that.
Yeah, we've definitely been consistent. I have to give us that, but
Yeah, something Carlton
there's
isn't.
there's more to come. That's all.
Yeah, but
That's
I mean,
all I
look,
can really
Michael
say.
Ross could learn from you guys. Like, just
Yeah.
keep turning up every week. Just keep trying to get better, and you'll be all right.
I did notice, Pommy, in the background that you have the number 39. Now, has that changed to Liam Brady now, or are you still recovering?
It still makes me sad. I'm still waiting for Alex to get picked up on a list, so he's going to get a reserve spot here. Because if Alex gets picked up, I've promised him that wherever he goes, that will be replaced. We're going to get. I'll give a sneak preview to your channel. We're adopting Ollie Florent this year. So Ollie
Hey,
Florent is Team Pom. He's going to be the new Pom Cotter. So there'll be a nice number 14 behind me at the start of next year. We like a
lovely.
little bit of Oliver.
Yeah.
Pommy's dropped the
Spicy.
bomb. There we go.
Yeah. So if Ollie Florent does his research, you'll realise if you become one of Pom's boys, you usually get delisted within 3 years. So enjoy your 3 years, Ollie. Sorry, mate.
I know.
Oh dear, that's funny. All right.
I'm sure he'll be a lifetime blue. He'll break the curse.
Hope so. All right. Thank you, Pommy.
Cheers,
Thanks for
mate.
tuning in. We really appreciate your time, your effort, and basically refreshing our minds about the draft because it only comes around once every year, and you're very good at reviewing and telling people insight into the draft. So yeah, we really appreciate it, and go Blues.
Go
And
Blues.
make
Thank
sure
very much
you
for having me.
make sure you go and check out Pommy's apps for the best understanding of the draft upcoming.
Thank you very much. Cheers, boys.
Go Blues.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah.